Good morning, everyone. Thoth is over there having his tea. His morning tea. He always likes having his morning tea. He has ginger tea, and maybe Thoth will come over and say hello. Hopefully he will. The more people that come over and watch and pay attention, the more that he will be curious about coming around and visiting. So today's video is going to be about why we left the United States. It's a broader video. We basically left the United States 15 years ago, but I said in the last video that I was going to talk about why we left New York, and that's a whole story. I told the whole story yesterday of I told the whole story yesterday of how we met, and that was pretty fun. It was really fun how many people showed up and engaged with that, so I really appreciate that. It was quite special and joyous for me, because I love telling stories. I love telling stories about our life, and I really believe in that, and I found that there's actually a lot of engagement in regards to that when I tell stories about our life, that when I talk about what happens in our life, that it engages a lot of people. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I really long for connection in regards to social media. That's the only reason I really share anything. I've come to understand that now. The reason why I share things online is because all I want is people to be interested and engaged. I want people to ask questions. I want people to be curious. I want you to ask any question you can imagine asking. No question is too much or too intimate or too anything, because I'm very much an open book, and I love answering questions, as does Thoth. And if you ask Thoth a question, he will answer. That's really the only reason Thoth ever talks, is because people ask him questions. Otherwise, he's just silent and in the background. He's always there in the background, and he's very much present with what I'm doing right now, but he's not going to say anything unless people start showing interest. So that's so show interest, and Thoth will show up. Show interest in what I'm talking about, and I'll tell you more, and I'll talk about more things. Ask questions about it, and I'll tell you more. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. So the thing that I wanted to share this time, and someone asked in a previous post, they said, why did you leave New York City? And I wanted to expand on that and say, why did we leave the United States? Because we've left the United States. We no longer live in the United States. And we're both American originally. I don't actually identify with being American, to be honest. I never have. I grew up in Middle America, Nashville, Tennessee, and I never identified with that at all. So I feel very liberated and free to be living outside of the United States. The United States is very expensive, as most people know. It's the most expensive country in the world, and cost of living is higher than anywhere else. So that's a big reason why we don't live there anymore. We spent the last year and a half actually exploring a lot of the less expensive areas of the world, just to see where could we live with a lower cost of living and still be happy. And we started out in Mexico, and because Mexico was south of California, it was only a few hours flight south. And so we did that a year and a half ago. I went to Puerto Vallarta and had the most incredible experience. I don't even know to this day why I chose Puerto Vallarta of all the places I could have chosen. I had no idea. I go on intuition in regards to making choices where we go to, where we fly. So I made that choice, and it was incredible. Puerto Vallarta was one of the places where we thought we were going to live, but it was just the beginning of our travels after 2 years of not traveling, so we had to keep going. There was no way we were just going to stay in Puerto Vallarta and just be like, well, I guess this is where we're going to live. I'm so glad we didn't stay, even though I miss it, and there's some wonderful friends there, one being Wim, and I hope Wim gets to see this. He's an artist from Puerto Vallarta. Inspired me tremendously with my art, and a very skilled, sensitive, sweet being, and we would fly back just to see him and his wife and his children again. We connected with them so deeply. That happens wherever we go, wherever we travel. We just meet amazing people who we deeply connect with, and then we have to leave. And that has happened everywhere we've been. Even in Plovdiv, Bulgaria, we met these incredibly beautiful people, Barry and Milena, this beautiful couple who, from all outside experience, might seem very normal, like very normal couple, but they're incredibly open, incredibly sensitive, incredibly just beautiful people who had a heart and really connected with us very deeply when we went through an incredibly difficult experience by getting harassed in the park when Thoth got harassed. So, yeah, and we make friends like that everywhere. And that is a beautiful aspect and a very hard aspect of traveling, is that we make these beautiful friends and then we have to leave. So, one of the major reasons we initially left the United States, we initially left New York in 2009, at the end of 2009. I kind of left the story yesterday at that, where when the whole experience, and there's so many details of our first experience in New York City, that was amazing. And I got very hello Yellfire, yay, hello, it's so nice to see you again. I'm telling the story of why we left the United States, why we initially left New York City, and why we travel. So yeah, hi. It's so nice when people pop on and say hello. Yellfire is a lovely friend of ours from. You want to come say hello to Yellfire? Can you please come say hello to her. Yellfire is a friend of ours that we met. Glitters! Hi, honey! That's so wonderful! Oh my God! It's Glitters. It's Lars's girlfriend. Hi, honey. Oh my God, I love you, even though we've never met before. Hi, honey. Wow, what time is it there? You're in LA, right? And Yellfire, where are you? Where are you in the world? Hey, Thoth. Yellfire says, hi, Thoth. Bunny, you have to come. You must come now. Come eat your mochi in the camera, please. Please, hello. He's having a mochi now. Come here, please. Please come here. Please. He doesn't like being on camera. So, Glitters, I'm telling the story of why we left the United States. And, oh my God, you're in Canada? Yikes. And the first person who joined, this person who said hello, where are you right now? Tell me where you are. That's incredible. I think it's late. What time is it? I don't know what time it is here. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here. We're in where are we? We're in 7:20 p.m. Okay, what time is it in Canada, Yellfire? That's is it late or early, or what time is it? There he is. Say hi to Mr. Thoth. Say hi to the sweet one. Glitters is there. You know Glitters? Mm-mm. Glitters is Lars's girlfriend. Hi, and Yellfire's there. He's having
I like mochi, it's my...
He's having a mochi. He loves these mochis. Let me show you. He got them at the Saturday night market last night, and he's eating every one of them for his breakfast. It's so cute. So this why we left the United States. The initial... Oh, Lars and you are no longer together? Oh, wow. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, send me a message. I'd love to hear what happened. I love you. I love you. Love you. So, hey, honey. So, we initially left New York City. I love you. We initially left New York City because I left the story off yesterday, kind of when we fled New York City at the end of 2009. We flew away on November 17th, 2009 to Amsterdam. And the reason we left was because when Thoth was playing in 2009, when I met him in 2008, it was kind of near the end of the ability to actually play in New York City, at the Angel Tunnel particularly, specifically, because the Angel Tunnel was dying. It was being taken over by incredibly controlling and obnoxious and difficult to manage people. Just people who were very focused on wanting to make money, and people who unfortunately just sang the same 3 or 4 songs over and over again, and we would have to be there and just kind of sit there and listen to this while we were waiting to play. And that was back in 2008 and 2009. So you can imagine how bad it's gotten now.
It was the breakdancers.
Yeah, the breakdancers, though, particularly. They weren't singing, but the breakdancers were right outside of this tunnel that we played in. And they were loud in a way that I can't even describe. They were belligerently loud. They were aggressively loud. They were nasty, like nasty people. And they were like, I would try to reason with them, honestly. I would like go to them and say, look, guys, could you please like not be so fucking loud? Because we're doing this really serene, beautiful expression about 5 feet away from you, and maybe you could have a little respect. And they had none. And it was just horrific. And like I said, that was in 2009. It was that long ago that it was that bad. And so in 2019, when we were last there, you can imagine how much worse it had gotten. And it had gotten worse. Because there was no, they tried a few times to like stop amplified sound there, they tried to stop all music, which we got arrested for singing at the tunnel because they were trying to stop all music there because they didn't know what else to do. So that was a big reason why we left New York, is because the Angel Tunnel just became inhospitable for our work. And another thing that was more personal for me was that a lot of Thoth's fans at the time, many of which we don't know anymore, and all of the people that are still fans of ours from that time, we have someone named Eric Wallach, Mariana Hedinger, these few people, Sarah Kernigan, who made Thoth's documentary, these few people, they stuck around, and they were supportive of us being together. But a lot of people back then kind of believed that I was ruining Thoth's work. And one could say that I did. One could say that I did ruin his work because I was there. And I made it into a duet instead of into a solo thing. And I was very young, so I was a big mess, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing most of the time. So that's what happened. And I people were calling me like some people were being very demeaning of me and calling me like mini Thoth and all of this because I was wearing a little white feather and all of that, because I didn't know who I was within the context of the work, to be honest. I can relate to Thoth's drummer, who he had like maybe 30 years ago. His name was Michael, beautiful friend of ours still. He very much had that problem where for the first 5 years that they played together, he would wear loincloths and Thoth would wear loincloths. He would dress like Thoth because he didn't really know who he was in his own right in the work. And I struggled with that a lot. I struggled with that for maybe the first 5 years or so of playing with Thoth, in which I just didn't know who I was in relation to the work, because it was so much his work. Performance was his work. And who was I? I was this little 20-year-old, 21-year-old kid that was running around with pink and white clothes and singing really pretty, but also my voice wasn't very strong and all of this. I was really struggling to find myself within the work. So that was another part of it, is that we weren't feeling accepted as a duet, and that's understandable because Thoth was famous, in his own right at the time for being the solo performance artist at the Angel Tunnel. And I came in and I just kind of crashed everything and ruined it, you could say. So we left. We fled away to Europe. And it was also the ability for us to just be able to be close with each other and be in a situation where nobody knew who we were, and we could kind of start all over again, you could say. And that was really important for us because we were basically starting a relationship. I was 21 and he was about 55 at the time. Crazy, right? So we fled away to Europe, and I was very innocent in my way of thinking about our time in Europe initially. Just both of us were very innocent, and we were having his tea. I was very innocent in my way of. Both of us were very much believing that our work is beautiful. Of course, we're going to go to Europe, and we're going to be embraced, and we're going to be famous, and we're going to be world-renowned, and all this shit. And of course, that's not what happened. And if I had known how bad it was going to be, I don't know if I would have wanted to do it. Because we were homeless 3 different times. One in Paris on Thanksgiving evening because we missed a train and Thoth was sick at the same time. It was horrible. It was just like a nightmarish mess. But for those of you who saw us play in Lisbon back in 2010, or all the other years that we went to Lisbon and played in Rua Garet, we first found Rua Garet in 2010. And, but, yeah, and the Angel Tunnel just was no longer, and is no longer, a place where we can really be. And it's not somewhere we want to be. It's just such a toxic space now that it's just not somewhere we want to be. And New York has just become so ridiculous, unbelievably expensive in a way that is just nauseating. And I know anybody who lives in New York can relate to this and understand this. It's just not somewhere that's meant for artists anymore. And I'd say Europe really isn't either. It's becoming almost just expensive as the United States. As we saw in the last 6 months of traveling, we were there, went all over Europe, and it was very expensive. So traveling has been just as a desire to I didn't realize that was the reason why we started traveling and why we've been traveling for so long, is that we've been looking for a place that we would want to be. A place that we would want to call home. A place that we would want to live and feel welcomed and feel loved. And a place we could afford to be. And it really is hard to be far away from people that we love. Because most of our dearest friends are in the United States. They're in New York, or they're in California, or they're in San Diego. And we miss them a lot. And we've had to sacrifice being around familiar people to, find places where we can live that are affordable. Is Bali a place where you want to live now? Yes. We're going to be there for 6 months, starting at the end of February. I'm going to have my birthday there, my 36th birthday, which is amazing. I don't feel 36 at all. I feel like I'm still 16. So, yeah, Bali, what's weird about Bali is Bali was the first place that we went to that I didn't want to leave. I mean, we've been traveling for a really, really, really long time. We've been to hundreds of different places. And I am a baby. Thoth is a baby. We're babies together. Little babies. We're never gonna get old. Thoth is not old. He's almost 70. He's going to have his 70th birthday on June 19th. Yeah, it's true. I believe anyone who is an artist at heart, or a sensitive, open-minded person, is childlike. And that's the reason I love Thoth so much, is that he's so innocent and he's so childlike, and he still has so much faith and so much hope. Babies forever, yes. And Glitters, you're like that too. You and Lars is like that. All of our dearest friends. Yellfire, you're like that. We're all like little babies running around, having fun. Oh, hi, honey. Hi, Flora. Hi, Flora. Say hi, Flora, bunny.
Hello.
He's so cute. He's so cute. Yeah, so, and we miss you guys. Like, Glitters is in LA and Yellfire is in Canada. We met
Canada?
Yeah. yeah, it is about remaining in awe, about being childlike is about being still having faith in the world. And I've actually realized recently that I have anxiety. Um, I've never really realized this about myself. And that's something about the evolution of our life that's happening now, is that we've been traveling for so fucking long, and that's just been kind of, for a really long time, that's kind of been my identity. It's been like, I'm a traveler. I'm an artist who travels. And um, recently I've really been kind of like ripping that apart and being like, no, I'm a human being, and I'm not I'm not a traveler. I'm not an artist. I'm a person, and I have feelings, and I'm messy, and I'm complicated, and I'm young, and I'm old, and I'm a girl and a boy, and I'm everything, and I'm nothing, and I'm an alien, and I don't relate to most of anything in life, except for this one and our friends, which we're very lucky to have found. Um,
Tweet, tweet.
Tweet, tweet. So, yeah, traveling has just been kind of an identity for me for so long. And probably one of the other places that we were really feeling for pretty strongly that we were going to live was Lisbon. Lisbon, Portugal. And we were there in May for a month. And we had a beautiful apartment overlooking, with windows, and we would sing out the windows and make a scene, which was so fun. And I could absolutely see us, even back in May, we didn't want to leave. I remember Thoth was not packing up his suitcase because he didn't want to leave. He tends to do that when he doesn't want to leave a place, is he'll just won't pack, and I have to kind of pack for him. He's doing better. 15 years ago, for example, when we first went traveling, he didn't pack until the day we fucking left. And I went to the airport. That's a whole story. I went to the airport to JFK all by myself. I ran out of the place I was living with the nuns, and I hadn't paid my rent for 3 months, so I had $3,000 in my bank account just because I hadn't paid my rent for 3 months. And that was all the money I had when what a crazy fucking shit that was. And I ran. Hello. Who is this? Tell me who you are. Say hello. Yeah. So I ran out of the nunnery, and I somehow convinced these Catholic nuns that I was living with for a year in New York City in 2008, 2009, that I was going to go out and pray for them with Thoth, and then I'd come back and pay them 3 months of rent that I owed them. And I brought my suitcase, and I had everything that I owned with me. This was the day we were flying to Amsterdam from New York City. And somehow they let me leave with all of my things, and I managed to get out of this place with this little chunk of money that was going to keep me and Thoth alive for a while. What a crazy thing. And they were so worried about me. The nuns were so worried about me. I told a little bit of the story yesterday about how I lived with Catholic nuns in New York City. Initially, they were really kind to me, and oh God, I'm going all over the place, aren't I? Sorry. That's my brain, I guess. But I remember when I was in New York, and I first moved to New York, and I was by myself. When I was 20 years old, and I was so miserable. I was so sad because I had thought that the conservatory I was going to be this wonderful, happy place for me, and I was going to finally be accepted, and it was just a miserable experience for me. So lonely, so isolated. Love you. Thank you. I love you. Love you too. Love you too. Thank you for listening. So when, initially the nuns were, hello. Initially the nuns were very kind to me, but I remember one night after a few weeks or months after arriving, and bye honey, a few weeks after first arriving, I had a complete mental breakdown. I was crying, and just in my dorm room and with these Catholic nuns, just having a complete panic attack, crying fit in the middle of New York City, and no one knocked on my door, nobody checked on me, and it was just a horrible moment. But as time went on in New York, and we were getting oh, bye to Glitters, bye Glitters, love you. I'm glad you're still here, Yellfire. It's nice. You two are here. It's so nice to see you guys here, and it's so sweet to imagine you two sitting, cuddling up, and listening to this story. Hi, Les. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. But after a while, the nuns were pretty confused by me, of course, because I was going out in the most skimpy outfits. I would wear nothing on top, because bras were, you didn't have to wear a bra in New York City, and I was really testing this. Oh, so cute. I love you too. Just sending you lots of, so sweet. I'm so glad you're still in our lives, you two. Love you too. It was such a special moment being with you two at the fairy gathering. So, yeah, and I remember one time I actually shaved my head like this a long time ago in New York City, because I had a friend dare me. They said if you shave your head, I'll shave my head or something, and I did, and I did it when I was in this nunnery with the nuns in New York, and they knocked on my door and came in and were like, "Are you okay?" And they were really worried about me. And I understand now why, because there were articles in the newspaper that I was in of us getting arrested and all this shit. And I think they were also really worried about me influencing the younger people, the younger women in the dormitories, because I had some lovely friends at this dormitory. Can't remember her name now. She was a lovely young woman, and I actually gave a suitcase of my drawings and art supplies and clothes and shit, and begged her to hold on to it for me when we first fled Europe. And I never was able to find her again. The things that we've lost, it's unbelievable. So, all of that said, it's like New York never was somewhere. It just never was somewhere that we could survive. It was all throughout the years that we tried to play there, to be there. Anybody who's followed my blog or has followed the YouTube channel for any amount of time would see that the New York City particularly was just a nightmare. It was just a horrible place that we tried so hard to play at the Angel Tunnel over the years. Rent was just ungodly expensive. We never had friends. We never had a community. In the months and months and months that we'd go to New York City and try to be there and try to play there, we would never make friends. We would never have a community. We'd never have opportunities to play. It would be too cold. It would be too hot. It was just a nightmare. It was not fun. And I know a lot of people saw us during that time, and a lot of people on this page have followed us from that time, of seeing us playing in New York City, seeing us playing at the Angel Tunnel, knowing Thoth from that time, and probably wondered what the fuck happened to us. And that's what happened, is we just fled. We just jumped out of a sinking ship, because it was just so hard to do what we were doing at the Angel Tunnel. As it has been hard, and as it was hard for us to play everywhere we've ever played. Busking has just become harder and harder and harder over the years, and to the point that it's not really possible anymore. And Southeast Asia is not conducive for busking. Busking is not something Southeast Asia or Asian people understand at all, and so we don't do it. We do little performances here and there for people that we know and people we meet, and have little things here and there when we feel safe, which is also hard. And it's interesting to have watched everything kind of die over the years, the whole busking scene die over the last 15 years. Because, like I said, in 2009, it was already dying. And what's sad is that I really didn't get to experience the full joy of what the angel tunnel was. Thoth got to experience that, and I never got to really experience the serenity. There were a few times in which I got to like really fully experience the beauty of that space. When we'd have days in which it would be too hot or too cold, and there would be nobody else out there, and we would have quiet and we would have serenity. And that's what all we needed for our music. It's all we've ever needed for our music, is just a quiet space that has nice acoustics and some people. And like I said, just having that attention creates energy. And like yesterday when I was sharing this story, it was really energetic for me because people were paying attention. And that's really all I need. Thoth and I are actually very reclusive people in general. And I was actually realizing that really strongly when we were in New York City the last time in 2019, I was realizing, wow, it's like the only time that anybody actually saw me or saw Thoth was when we were at the height of this ecstatic performance. And the rest of the time we were cloistered in our little apartments or rooms or whatever, drawing or being creative or writing or whatever. And I was even, back in that time, I wasn't confident enough to like sing solo. It actually took me about 12, 13, 14 years to actually really start to play solo. And because I just didn't have confidence. So even in 2019, in the Angel Tunnel, when I would be waiting for Thoth to do his ceremony or whatever, I would be sitting in the middle of the tunnel drawing. And drawing is such a good thing for my anxiety. It's just life and death for me, being creative. Good night, sweetie. So yeah, things have changed, and I'm really hopeful that hello. Thank you for listening. It really means a lot when people just listen and pay attention. Life has changed, and I would never ever have thought in a million bazillion years that we would be living in Southeast Asia, or that we'd be moving to Bali. Bali was not ever on my radar. It was on my radar for the last year or so. But Bali really feels like the right place for us. But at the same time, I'm having this feeling of that, oh my God, there's this beautiful being, her name is Jenna Marvin. We actually got to play for the debut of her documentary in, where was it? In Sofia, Bulgaria. The director invited us to see the debut of the film. And sadly, Jenna wasn't there because she didn't have all the papers she needed to get to Bulgaria from Paris, sadly, because it would just been incredible, blissful joy to meet her. Jenna is one of those people she's one of like the newest or the last people who have used street performance to like stir people. And if you look her up, she's a really special being. But now we're friends, and she lives in Paris, and I fantasize about, maybe after we're in Bali for 6 months, we'll go to Paris and hang out with Jenna. Because it's just so rare for us to meet like-minded souls. And I'm really grateful for all the people who we have met, that we have connected with, because it's so rare in this world. And like I said, the older I get, the more I really see what a fucking freak I am, and what a fucking freak Thoth is, in the best way possible, of course. But we are just such little freaky weirdos, and I've never had a job. I've never worked for anyone else. I don't even understand what that means, to have a job. I remember when I was a little kid, and my dad was like, when I was 16 years old or something, and my dad was trying to get me to get a job, and I refused. I was like, no, I'm not going to get a job, Dad. I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to be a singer. I've known that from when I was an infant. I've been singing since I was like 5 years old. So what a freaky, strange thing that is. Thoth had a job. Thoth had a job for a long time. He worked for a long time. He worked in the service industry as a waiter. Isn't that insane? He only started busking when he was a few years younger than I am now, which is crazy. Bunny, do you want to come on and talk about anything? Do you have anything you'd like to talk about? Please? He's having his tea. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Well, if you want to stay on point, the reason we left the Angel Tunnel was because when I found it a long time ago, it was a pigeon poop mess, but it had acoustics, the resonance, and it was heavenly. So heavenly that I once dreamed that by singing there I flew when I sang, and it taught me that singing is a type of flying. And I don't mean singing with a microphone, I mean singing with resonance. Because the resonance bounces around the space and you float on it psychically. And you move around in the space like a angel, basically. But after playing there and the Academy Award-winning film was done of me and all these things happened, the attention in a kind of strange way brought the attention of the park even more to the space. And the name Angel Tunnel was a name I gave to it because it wasn't called that. It was called something else, some stupid name. But I call it the Angel Tunnel because Bethesda Angel, who I did the performance for and sang to, brought water to the New York City, was considered mythically to have brought water to New York City during the cholera disaster. So that angel was created, and the angel was created by a being who was a lesbian, and that gender complexity was similar to how I was feeling. So, and the angel's very ambi, very male, female, so all those things fit for me. But the park really focused in on it because the film happened. People were coming to see me. It was large crowds. Excuse me. So what they did is they renovated the tunnel. There was a leak there consistently, and they decided that to make it more beautiful. And their process of making it more beautiful took away, I would call it about a 1/8 of the resonance, so that the resonance didn't have that same etheric experience. But it was beautiful now, and that beauty of it caused a lot of tourists to come more. They felt more comfortable there. It was less dirty. However, they did many things that were very problematic. Of course, they didn't ask me what they should do. They just did it. They put corrugated aluminum in the ceiling to stop the leaking, and that, of course, is not one of the most resonant materials. They took away my foot drums, which were these two plates that were over drums in the floor. I used to dance on them and create rhythms while I played. And it was also a way that I had of controlling the space and all around, because when I was thumping on these drums, then very few people could do anything around the tunnel. But once I didn't have it, do I have to hold this?
Yes, you do. You can do it.
I don't really like holding phones. I don't hold phones anymore. It's very difficult for me to sit in a restaurant and see everybody looking at their phones and not talking to each other. I just sit there and look at everybody, and everybody is looking at their phone. I'll go like this. So ironically, the construction workers called the project Project Thoth, and ironically that reconstruction of the tunnel caused me to lose a certain amount of control of it. And lost the resonance, lost so many things from that. But at the same time, I gained the sweetie who came in during that once after it was renovated, and that was my exchange. One angel for another.
Oh my God! I've never heard you say anything like that.
That's enough talking for me.
Okay, that's fine. I've never heard him say anything like that. Wow. What a story. I'm sorry I'm going all over the place. There's just so much story to tell that, good night. Whoa! Yikes. Sorry. So that, I mean, that really is why... There's so many subtle and not so subtle reasons why we left New York, and why we won't be going back there. The Angel Tunnel is no longer a place for us to be. It's not what it used to be. It's not welcoming anymore. And it used to be the place that we did the work. It was the place we met each other, and we'll never forget that space. And when we were there in May, it was heartbreaking to go back. We went into the space. We weren't able to sing there. We went to another space to play. So it's really hard to let go of things, and that's part of life, as we all know, is letting go of things. But I'll never forget that first year we had together in New York City, and all of the things we went through together. And I don't regret at all why we left, because all the things we've been through together, good and bad, have shaped us as people and made us into the powerful, dynamic duo that we are, right? We wouldn't be as strong and bold and brave and badass as we are today if we hadn't have been through all of these painful things that we've been through. And even speaking recently of the shit that we went through leaving Bali, that was completely horrifying and scary, and just reminded me of brought up all the fucking trauma from the past, from that time, of when we didn't have any money, and we didn't have any friends, and we didn't have anything at all. And we just but that really shows how special we are, to be honest, that we have survived for so long on our art alone and nothing else. And now this miracle has happened in which we can just live and not have to worry about how to survive anymore. And I think that's why I'm sharing so openly now, is because I have nothing to lose anymore. The only thing I'm seeking is connection with people, curiosity, openness, and interest in our lives and in our work. I know there's so much going on in the world, and I know that you could be doing anything else with your evening or morning, but it just means a lot when you come on here and just listen and pay attention. And so if you have any questions at all for us about our work, I have several questions that are meant to be answered in the next several videos that I'm going to make. And I will do that I'll answer any question. It can be as intimate, as complicated, as simple as you can imagine. And I will get around to answering it. And we will get around to answering it. Because I really think in this modern world that we live in this fucked up world in which everyone is on their fucking phones all the fucking time, and no one is connected with reality. You know, the only way that I can now reach anyone is through the internet. And for a really long time, we were able to reach people through one-on-one personal people seeing us play live. And that still happens, but it's different. And we've evolved and the world has changed. But I just feel now is the time to really share the story of our life and share the way that we live and the way that we work and the way that we think and the way that what we believe in, because it's really important for people to know that there's other ways of being, that there are other ways of living, other ways of thinking, that you don't have to be a drone in living and having a job and doing all this crap that you don't want to do in order to survive. That it is possible to do your own thing. It's not all sunshine and rainbows at all. I am so sick in bed. In my fever delirium, I got to listen to you and your sharing this morning with the rain and now tonight with the rain. Thank you. I will think of a thoughtful question to ask. Please do. Thank you. That's wonderful. A couple of people have shared this, that they find us admirable because they struggle with anxiety or they struggle with any number of personal issues, and we help liberate them or we give them inspiration or something, and that makes me happy. Because I know we're very freaky little weirdos, and we are. Leave any question you have, any comment you have in the comments in this video, please. Just feel free. Don't hesitate. Because we're in a position now where one could say we're so unknown that we don't have millions of people asking us questions or thousands of people asking us questions or asking things of us. And so we have a kind of tight-knit community online and in which people will ask questions and we can answer all of them. There may come a time in the future in which so many people, or I don't know, maybe that'll never happen, but we have the time now to actually answer questions. And someday, when more people are interested, then we won't be able to answer questions because it'll be too many questions. Courage. Where does our courage come from? I don't know, Yellfire. I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. I don't even see myself. I see Thoth as being very courageous. I see Thoth as being very bold and very, even to this day, he wants to go out and sing in public, and I'm very protective of him. I'm always watching him and making sure he doesn't get killed. Because that's a thing in the world. But for me, being the way I am is I've just always been this way. I've always been kind of just a bold, brave person, and I think just the way I am is seen as being brave, but I don't see it as brave. I don't see it as being bold. I don't see it, I think I've only recently realized that I'm a badass motherfucker, that I'm a badass broad, that kind of identity, that people could see me like that. I speak my mind. I've always been this way ever since I was young. I just speak my mind. I say what's on my mind. I say what I want. I say what I don't want. I'm always protective of Thoth. I'm always looking out for him. I always speak up for his needs, for my needs. I never hold back. And that's part of being a woman who travels. I look like this cute little tiny innocent thing. I look like I'm fucking 16 years old, right? I look like a little girl, right? I dress like a little girl, right? But I don't see myself as a little girl. I see myself more as a boy than I do as a girl. I very much would like to remove these, to be honest. Been thinking about that for a while. But I just am this way, and I think I've only recently realized that I'm a badass, and I have a memory of when I was 21 in New York City. My sister came to visit me, my twin sister, and we were walking around Union Square. You're blessed to have each other. You are a badass. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, I have a memory of this kind of an example of me being a badass bitch, you could say. My sister and I were walking around Union Square in New York City, in 2009, around the time when I was beginning to busk with Thoth. And thank you. I do want to do that. Maybe I'll send you a message about it. But we were walking around Union Square, and there was a man who was following us. And that would happen when I was younger. That would happen because I would wear really skimpy outfits walking around New York City by myself. That was very character building. And I would be topless a lot. I would, because I didn't have to wear tops. You actually can legally be topless in New York City if you didn't know that. And I would push that. I would do that. I would perform topless a lot of the time in New York City at the Angel Tunnel, or with very skimpy, revealing things. It was great. I just loved kind of challenging people in that way. And I remember a man saying, I can see your tits, and I was like, I know, thank you, goodbye. But anyway, this particular memory of this man was following us around Union Square, and I sat down with my sister on the stairs somewhere, and I just turned to him and I said, "What the fuck are you doing? Are you following us? Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck are you doing?" And he just fucking ran the fuck away. He just ran away. Because when people who are creeps or who have dark energy do that, and you are like straight with them, they fuck off, And even me being a little 20-year-old girl in New York City with my little twin sister, this little cutesy girly looking girl, I'm just told him to fuck off. And I did that all the time. Men would constantly harass me in New York City, of course, because I was saying, can I come home with you? Could I follow you? Could I walk with you? And I'd be like, no, fuck you. Go away. Leave me alone. And I do that to this day. I'm very bold and very brave. And but I don't see it as being brave, to be honest. I see it as I'm just speaking my mind. I'm saying exactly what's on my mind. And that's something about being a woman who travels, a woman who arranges travel and does travel. For a long time, I felt like Thoth was my protector, and he is my protector. He watches over me. He's there for me. He would go batshit if anybody fucking touched me, right? Of course he would. He's a badass too. But he's a gentle, dainty little angel also, much more than I am. I'm very brass, and I curse a lot, and Thoth doesn't curse at all, And that's an interesting dynamic between me and Thoth, is that when he plays music, he's like, rah, her, just fuck everyone, and very bold and, one could say, aggressive, maybe. Just violently loving in his expression. Whereas for me, when I play, I can seem very beautiful and angelic and, because of my voice and the way I look. But when I'm in day-to-day communication with people, when I'm interacting with people, when I'm just me, I'm a badass, and one could see me more as like a bitch, and I'm like a very brass kind of bitchy woman who I always get my way, and I'm bossy and I'm controlling, which is not something I like being. I'm working on that. But Thoth is like the daintiest, sweetest, kindest. When he is in day-to-day communication, he's just gentle, quiet, kind. I'm kind too. I'm not like a mean person at all. I'm a very kind person. But yeah, the whole act of I'm just being myself in my day-to-day life, and I think the act of traveling has helped me grow more into being myself. Because for the first half of our relationship, it was very much like I was the little girl who didn't know anything, and I was just kind of stupid and didn't know what was going on. And Thoth was kind of helping me. I was always making the decisions. I was always the one that was going, where are we gonna go next? When we were in Athens, Greece, I was going, let's go to Marrakesh, and he's like, okay. That's the way he is. He just does whatever I want. But as time has gone on, that has shifted, where that I'm leading, and I'm making the decisions, and he just comes along, and I'm protecting him, and I'm watching over him, and I'm caretaking him. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't caretake me too. He's an amazing caretaker, and like in the last week when I've been sick. When I was throwing up, he's feeding me my dinner and taking care of me and tucking me into bed and kissing me, and he's a wonderful caretaker. He's just an amazing caretaker. I'm very blessed. I've always known that about him, and I'm very lucky to have that in my life. But something about me being the one who makes all the decisions, because I do make all the decisions. I make all the decisions of where we're going to go next. I find housing. I mean, we're going to Bangkok next week. Just a couple of days ago, I bought the flights and the housing. I make all of the decisions. It's my job, and I love doing that. Thoth just kind of comes along and figures out how to play, and that's what he loves to do. So we have a great dynamic also in that way. We work together really well, and that's incredible. That's an incredible thing about our relationship, is that not only do we play music together so beautifully and so well, but we also work together really well as a team. And that's really special. We get along. We're in this tiny little room together. He's drawing, doing his thing, but our room is very small. It's just a room. It's just a bedroom. And a lot that we've been in rooms smaller than this, half this size. You were in Bangkok in July? Oh, interesting. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're gonna be there for a couple of days next week, just to explore it, just to see what's going on. But I think this whole act of traveling, also the thing I have loved about traveling, is that it's really helped me be who I am, and to really embrace my badassery, and my bold, brave, I don't give a fuck what you think kind of mentality. And I'm sensitive. I get upset. I cry. I get hurt. I get scared. I'm human. Thank you. Hello. I am not just one thing at all. And that's why I am coming on here and saying, like, hello, this is me. And that I've also spent a long time, like, kind of feeling like I was in Thoth's shadow for a really long time. A really long time. Not because of anything Thoth did. Thank you for listening. Just because of the way I have, when I first started with Thoth, it was Thoth. Thoth performance, Thoth. And Master Thoth. Famous Thoth. Thoth documentary, Academy Award winning, And then it was me. And like, who the fuck are you? And people going, who is she? She's just getting in the way. This reminds me actually of when Steve Vai, if anybody knows Steve Vai, he's one of my heroes. I fucking love Steve Vai. Famous rock guitarist. He made Passion and Warfare initially when he was, 30 years old. And that became very successful. And then when he did a follow-up album a few years later, he did this thing called Sex and Religion, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. Because if you've never heard of Sex and Religion or Steve Vai or Devin Townsend is my favorite artist besides Thoth. It's like, fucking love Devin Townsend. He's my favorite because he's so authentic and he's so real. And recently he's been sharing a lot of very honest videos on his YouTube channel, which I love. I just love hearing some kind of very authentic, incredibly authentic artist just share themselves and not hold back and not pretend. Like yesterday I was like taking my glasses off because I was shy about the fact that I wear glasses. I wear glasses. I need glasses. I can't fucking see without glasses. Which is actually a superpower that I have, because when I don't wear glasses and we're performing or performing, then I can look into people's eyes and everything's kind of blurry, which is really interesting. When I put my glasses on, that means I'm actually looking at people and can see them. So, yeah, and for a long time, it was, Devin Townsend. So that thing about Devin Townsend is the way that Thoth and I relate to Devin Townsend and Steve Vai is that Steve Vai hired Devin Townsend when he was fucking 20 years old to sing on his follow-up album to Passion and Warfare, Sex and Religion. And it's like the most incredible album. And this kid is 20 years old. He's never performed in his life. He's like, and that was back in the day when things were someone was like a nobody and no one had ever heard of them, and they'd never made an album, they'd never fucking done anything, and then they're just pulled through the ranks to like the highest height that you could possibly reach. Like in rock music, a 20-year-old kid is like brought to be singing the lead singer on Steve Vai's follow-up album to Passion and Warfare. What the fuck? I mean, that was back when there were opportunities for artists to really be seen. And the fact that Steve Vai gave Devin Townsend a chance is just, if you're interested in that, like, read up about that. Devin Townsend and Steve Vai and Sex and Religion. It's like, that album was like ripped to shreds because Steve Vai did something that he wasn't expected to do. He made a follow-up album with this random kid that nobody had heard of before. But that relates very much to me and Thoth, because Thoth was, in his own way, in his own unique way, he was a legend. And he is a legend. He is, one could say he is more legendary than me, because he's been doing it longer than me. He has an Academy Award-winning documentary about his life. I've been waiting for, the last 15 fucking years for a really full-length documentary to be made about our work. For fuck's sake, come on. So, yeah, and I spent a long time kind of feeling like I was in Thoth's shadow, and feeling like I didn't really know who I was. And now I'm not in Thoth's shadow anymore, and I don't feel like I don't know who I am. I don't feel like I'm like, oh, who am I? And I don't have anything to say. I have so much to say, and it's not like Thoth doesn't have anything to say, but he just doesn't care much about social media. And I'm so grateful when he does talk, and he does have things to say. Do you have anything else you want to say, Bunny? Do you? So, yeah, so I think that's another part of what's happening for me, is that I'm stepping out and going like, hello, I'm here, and I have thoughts and feelings. And I don't really care if, I really want people to pay attention, because I have so much to say as an artist, and Thoth has so much to say as an artist, and it's high time that we share, and that we talk about it. And even if there aren't a lot of people out there who really care much, there aren't a lot of people. There are only between 3 and 5 people at any time watching our live streams. The other day, I think about 25 people watched, which is incredible. But hello, coming out and like speaking my mind and being my own individual. Because one of the other reason why I want to do these live streams and tell stories and stuff is because I really don't want people to suddenly be interested in Thoth when he's dead. Like, I really want people to know about him and know about our work together while he's still here. Because one of the things that I'm absolutely positive is going to happen when he dies, because I will film his death and I will share it on here. The whole thing, kit and caboodle, and I won't hold back with any of it. And I will have a lot to say, and we'll be needing a lot of fucking support. I would love to hear more about what you both love. It's so interesting to hear about Steve Vai. Steve Vai is one of my favorite artists in the world. And Devin Townsend. I love Devin Townsend. He is, and you know what? The reason why I love certain artists is because I want to fucking be them. I want to be Devin Townsend. Another artist I love so much is James Swanton. James Swanton, I had an incredible dream about him the other night. He's someone I dream about. And we unfortunately had a falling out last year. We were friends for a long time, and we did an opera together. James and me and Thoth, we went to Amsterdam in 2017 and did an incredible opera called The Pantheon of Electric Beasties, which nobody knows about. I shared some footage of it a while ago, and yeah, he's just incredible. Even though we don't speak anymore, and we had a really, really hard falling out, he is just, James Swanton is like Devin Townsend. James isn't as, he does not share online, and he's not like that, because he's British. But James Swanton is just like, I've loved him since I was 19 years old. And I'm really, actually, that's a skill that I have, is I'm really fucking good at finding talent, at really like finding amazing talent. And Jenna Marvin is another example of that. Like, Jenna Marvin is this new artist that we've discovered through the documentary that we got to see when we were in Plovdiv. I'll try to share the opera at some point somehow. I think it's on our YouTube channel. I think it's buried under hundreds of videos. There's there's footage of it, and it's incredible. And I only like a handful of people saw it in Amsterdam, and it was a nightmare, expensive disaster, but it was amazing, and a dream come true for me. We got to perform with James Swanton, who is my idol, and James is a few years younger than me, and I'll never see him again. It's heartbreaking. I had this incredible dream about him the other day, in which he was there, physically there. It's like two mornings ago. I woke up from this incredible dream in which he was there, and he was directing me and a bunch of other people in a performance, and we were singing, show tunes and stuff. And there was this beautiful stage and lighting, and I could feel the heat from the lights, and I could feel him touching me. And I always have dreams about him that way, that we're close friends, and always throughout the last 15 years that I've known James. If you look up James Swanton, also, he's an incredible, gifted being. He's a horror actor from Britain, and he's a few years younger than me, and he's just incredible, special being. And I'll never not say that about James, because even though we don't speak anymore, I'll always admire him. And I feel grateful that I got to know him, and we were really close friends for a while, and I got to perform with him. So, yeah, Devin Townsend is someone I would have loved to... he's someone I would love to meet. I know that he would love us and we would be friends. I know he'd love our music. I'm so happy with certain artists that we've met, like Jenna, who's such a special being, that she knows us through Instagram only, but, I have fantasies of, like, flying to Paris and going and being with her, because she's so special. They're so rare, these authentic artists. They are out there, and we're friends with some of them, but they're not many, and they don't exist very much. So, and it's hard to hold on in this world. It's hard to keep going, because as a original creative artist, because there just aren't opportunities anymore for artists to even share or be. And that's why I'm doing this, because I think it's time to share. And I really do like highlighting other artists that I love, because there are some that I really, really love and have really admired. To go back to that story, when Steve Vai brought Devin Townsend to perform with him and do this, everybody was just ripping them to shreds and going like, who the fuck is this little kid? Who's this kid doing this, like, performing with you and being so wild and crazy, this 20-year-old kid? Very similar to when Thoth and I got together. Because when I was 20 years old, different context, different experience, a lot less fame involved, a lot less, press and all that crap involved. But similar, because people were not happy with me initially. People were not pleased that I was there in his life, that I was ruining his work. And people would say that to my face in the tunnel. They would say, she's ruining your work. And I did, because it changed. And that's something I actually appreciate about not being famous and not being world-renowned, is that we can change and evolve slowly, quickly, however we wish to. And that's the nature of being an artist, is you change. So, and when you become successful, you're not allowed to change. And that's something I love about Devin Townsend, is that he is always evolving, and he's always doing different kinds of music all the time. All of his releases are different. Different genres, you could say. He doesn't stick with one genre, which is so admirable, because the world is so sucked into this fucking genre thing, which is just annoying. So, Yeah, and I think this thing of being authentic and really coming forward with that kind of way of being and not, I've always been this way. I've always been authentic, real, live human being. And even though what we do is so mystical and magical and it seems so otherworldly, I'm passionate about being authentic. And I think that's so important. And I'm not going to hold back and pretend and make it look like it's something that it isn't. And I really believe in that, and I really believe in the power of being real as an artist, as an original creative artist. And I remember this about when I was younger. When we were first starting out together in Europe, and I had a blog, and I was running a blog where I posted things on Facebook and stuff. I just remember people being like almost frustrated with me being authentic because they'd be like, "But you're an angelic fairy from another dimension. I can't imagine that you have struggles with money, or like you worry about how you're going to feed yourselves tomorrow, or where you're going to fucking sleep." Because that dichotomy between the angelicness of my expression, the beauty of Thoth's expression, and the fact that we're fucking human beings and we suffer and we cry and we get angry and we get pissed and we are human beings is such a big dichotomy and so different that I think it's really important to share that, because to be anything other than who we are, because our expression, the way we are as human beings when we express ourselves, is who we are. Like I'm not faking anything when I'm singing really beautifully. That's my voice. That's the way I sound. Sometimes I wish I could like fucking scream and sound ugly but that's like Devin Townsend can. That's why I love Devin Townsend, is because he can sing and project in a way that I can't. Now I can't scream, and I can't. I'm not a male. I don't have that kind of ability. So, and that's okay, because the way that I sound and the way that I sing is great and beautiful and magical, and I don't have to change anything about what I do or how I express myself. So yeah. So sorry that was all over the place, but that's how it's going to be. Thank you all for your patience and for paying attention. Any of you who've stayed for the whole thing. I will, if you have any questions at all, please ask. Any question, any comment, anything you want to say, any question you have, please ask. Please say what you think. It really means a lot to me, and that's all I'm really looking for in regards to sharing online, is connection and interest and communication and questions. Thank you. And that's the way I am, I guess. Very non-linear. So now I'm going to start my day and try to be creative. Say goodbye to Thoth, everyone. Little Thoth, he's drawing. Let's see what he's doing. He's drawing left-handed. See? Isn't that interesting?
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Thoth would say that he doesn't think that what he does has any value at all. He would say that his drawing, his writing doesn't mean anything at all. No one is interested and no one cares. And that's what we've been struggling with for a really long time. It's just thinking that nobody gives a shit. And it's hard not to think that way, because the world is so fucking oversaturated that there's no space for us. This is what I've been working on. You can tell how I've been feeling. Fuck you, me. Fuck off. Yep. That's how I've been feeling. I like the slow guy. It's been very slow going. Thank you all for listening. Good. I think that's a nice thing for people to do, is draw. If people want to draw or be creative or just sit and listen for our little talks, feel free. And people being creative while we're sharing is great. Yeah. Sending love to you all, and thank you all for paying attention. It means so much to me. Thank you.